What's going on, friends? Zach here, and I am back at it again, out chasing deals, spinning my wheels, looking for anything I could buy to resell online for profit. I'm up here in Durango, Colorado, which is part of my normal loop that I like to go and thrift at. I've made the pilgrimage up here because the market is just much better to buy things than it is back in New Mexico where I live. And so I'm gonna race in here and look around for some things to buy. I'll share with you why I buy certain brands, what materials I'm looking for, what I'm willing to pay for certain items, and what I think I might be able to make off of them. So follow along and I'll share with you my adventure. What's good, brother? I got the fish, brother. You got the reel? All right, so one of my first grabs of the day, one of my favorite brands, beautiful Howler Bros Pearl Snap from Texas. Can't be Howler Bros. Gonna look it over. I don't really care about the price because this stuff sells for me. Gonna grab it. I love Pendleton, the brand, but if it's not wool, I generally always walk away from it. The cotton shirts, button-ups, dress shirts just don't sell that well. I found these BKE Alec Edition jeans, but unfortunately, they got some damage and they're priced out of the park, so walking on these. I've been digging hard through these clothing racks and I finally found another shirt. This is just a Sims pullover. It's kind of lightweight, but price is there, and you can usually sell shirts like this for about 20 to 25 bucks, depending on the size, the color, and the condition, and this one's pretty clean. So no brainer, gonna grab it. I'm not buying this t-shirt, but I just want to shout out Mr. Belding as well as Zach Morris, but all the kids that actually watched Saved by the Bell in the early 90s. I was one of them, as well as my neighbors, and so just a good memory. Okay, so normally I would pick up this LL Bean, but it's pretty beat up. Some of the knitting is unraveled. It's got some stains on the bottom. But generally, if I bought a shirt like this, I would use keywords like cabin core, cottage core, outdoors, outside, anything like that to garner more attention and get a buy. I'm gonna walk on this guy. It's too bad because it is a nice sweater. It's just a little too beat up for my liking. Okay, so wrestling shoes are always a solid bet for me, and Asics is about as good as it gets, but there's a couple brands out there I prefer, and Rudis is definitely on top. If you can find some Rudis wrestling shoes, they sell for a lot and they sell usually pretty quick. I also like Adidas wrestling shoes. These are a little beat up and they're also priced up, so I'm just gonna walk on them, but keep an eye out for good wrestling shoes. They'll sell. Okay, so I'm glad I came over here and was curious. This is a cool knit zip-up jacket, and I seen the girl taking this off the rack just a little while ago, and so just keep an eye out for that little emblem right there. It's a good brand, sells very well for me, and it also has a little shield, and so their pants are super solid. Their hiking shirts, really any of their outerwear is always a good seller for me. This guy's a good price and it's in good condition, so I'm gonna scoop it. So I found this pair of Hoka Bondi 8s, but they're pretty beat up, pretty dirty, and they don't have the original insoles. And while I have sold this exact same pair of shoes, same color, same size, I'm gonna walk on these. I said it in past videos, I really hate cleaning shoes. And so I'm moving to that point where I just don't wanna deal with dirty shoes. Can't blame me. All right, I came across a couple pair of cool pants, and they're actually at a decent price range, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab them. Normally these have been priced up pretty high lately at this store. And so I'm gonna scoop it. I sound like a broken record, but LL Bean outerwear just does good for me. This jacket is kind of lightweight, but it is fleece. It's got a nice print on it. It is like $6. Size ain't great, but it's not bad. And it seems to be older. I think it might even be considered vintage. It looks like an older tag. So I'm gonna scoop this guy up. So this Patagonia lightweight knit coat is priced way up there. It's like 12 bucks. But it's the only thing I found today that's way priced up, so I'm gonna grab it because Patagonia's a solid seller. So I found this women's 700 fill puffer vest. It is white, it has some stains, but it is only $4.99. I'm gonna grab it. And then there's also this men's fleece outdoor research jacket. It's $12.99, it's in good shape, gonna grab it. I'll jump at the opportunity to grab Le Creuset, but this guy's priced up at $14.99. It's actually a smaller whistling tea kettle, and I just bought one a couple days ago for $5.99 from here that was much cleaner, but wanted to share this. This is a cool old vintage thermos, and it's also priced up. I am gonna look this up. I just love old vintage stuff like this, and this one's very clean. Exceptionally good haul at the Durango Goodwill today. I haven't had a really good day here in some time. I can't remember what I bought, but I spent 80 bucks. I did come away with one pair of Carhartt joggers I bought just for myself because I love Carhartt, and I didn't know they made joggers, but the rest of this stuff is mainly Gorp, and Gorp is a big push for me. I sell lots of outdoor adventure apparel, and so this stuff will move fast for me. All bread and butter brands. Super happy with the haul today. Hopefully the next stop's gonna be even better. As I'm traveling down the road to my next stop, I just wanted to throw this little tidbit of information. If you're gonna be dealing in the used market, especially clothing and shoes, you're gonna be coming across a lot of items that are not in perfect condition. And so my answer to a lot of these dirty, soiled, and dingy items is OxyClean. I'm not sponsored by OxyClean, and I'm not trying to plug the product. I'm just saying this because I believe in it, and OxyClean has very much cleaned up some pretty dirty items and made me some better money off of my investments. And so what I generally do with any item that needs treated is I will spray it with OxyClean spray. I'll let the item soak and then sit sometimes for several hours. I might even let it sit overnight. And then what I'll do is I'll turn around and run my washing machine with a cold water load. I will add some OxyClean powder to that water, and then I will simply let the item, whether it be soiled shoes or a stained garment, soak in that cold water solution. And if it's in really bad shape, I'll let it soak overnight. Sometimes I just let it soak for a few hours, and then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and run the load, let it run through its cycle. I'll take the item out and just let it dry. I'll make sure and inspect it, because you don't want to put anything in the dryer that still has a stain. It might set that stain in for life. And so I'm always good about rechecking, and sometimes I might take that item right back through that same process again if the stain does not come completely out. When I do shoes, I like to spray the shoes and then I put them in a low spin cycle. I've had some bad luck spinning out shoes at higher speeds, and it deformed the rigid plastic inside of the shoes, and you don't want to do that. So I hope that that tip helps you. Nothing you're going to be dealing in is going to be perfect or brand new if you get into reselling, especially in the used market. So you got to have some answers to those items that need cleaned up a little bit, and I believe that taking the time to clean some of these items is often worth it. And so I got a couple items in the back of my car right now that I'm definitely going to have to give some OxyClean love to, but that's all right. It's worth the gamble sometimes. I hope that helps you. Don't be lazy with listing your items. Also make sure that aside from getting the stains out, that you maybe have a steam cycle or a steamer that you can get the wrinkles out with. That always helps your sales to have an item that looks clean and fresh, especially when you're dealing with used. So I hope that helps you. I'm right down the road from my next stop. I hope that it's as plentiful as the last. If you have made it this far, you like watching me, please reach out there and tickle that like button. I'd appreciate it. It lets me know that these videos are helping somebody out there, and that's my whole goal. So we'll regroup and continue when I walk in the door of the Methodist.
I'm always trying to keep it legal, because in my younger life, I didn't keep it legal, and that shit got expensive.
All right, so I'm walking into the Methodist thrift store. Love this thrift store. As I've said in past videos, it is smaller. I do find some good stuff here sometimes though. So let's hope for some great deals and some good brands. Right off the bat, I found this Mountain Hardwear Sherpa extra large and tall jacket. It is $9, but these jackets sell for me pretty good as long as they're in good condition. I can usually get 35 to 40 bucks for them. I ran into a couple LL Bean jackets, and while both of them are a little priced up, I'm gonna go ahead and grab them. This guy right here is a little bit better price range for me. And then this guy right here I was a little bit on the fence with, but it is blanket lined, and that is a help when selling an item like this. And they're both extra large, which will help because they're in the women's line. So I'm gonna go ahead and check the zippers, and I think I'll grab both of them. Hey, this is a pretty decent grab here. This is an LL Bean chunky cable knit sweater. I'm gonna go ahead and grab it. It's only $5. I can usually sell these for about 25 to 30.
Okay, $34.69.
Alrighty, so I'm skinning out of my last stop here, and I did okay. I walked out with 4 items, definitely paid up for several of them, but that's all right. They're all brands and items that I've sold in the past, and as you get into reselling, I encourage you to lean on the brands, the items, the things that you know will sell for you, but I also encourage you to take some risks, to be looking up items too that you're unfamiliar with. All of those things are just going to help you. It's hard sometimes gauging where you should invest your money, where you should spend it, and how, but I know that nothing more than trial and error is what helped me, and leaning on those power brands that I call my bread and butters. So I'm gonna go ahead and race down back to New Mexico. Might make one more stop at my local thrift store, just see what they have, give the ladies a hug and give them a hi, but I will do a haul at the end. This was a pretty good run for me this morning. I usually walk away from Durango with generally about 5 to 7 items on average. Today I've went over 10, so I want to share them with you a little bit more in depth and go from there. Getting ready to roll in the Friends and Family thrift store here in Spencerville, New Mexico. I was just here yesterday and the day before, so it's hard to say if I'll find anything, but I'll definitely see some smiles and get some hugs. All right, I found this Mountain Hardwear Windstopper vest. It's pretty lightweight, but it seems to be in good shape, and it's probably only about $3, so I'm gonna grab it. Came across these 511 tactical pants, but they're a plus size. They're in good condition, but they are a size 48 in the waist, and I typically stay away from wide waists, but the prices at this store are incredibly good, so I'm gonna go ahead and scoop these and just sit on them for a while till the right buyer comes along and scoops them. This is the second hug I've gotten at this thrift store, so I mean it when I say I get a lot of hugs when I come here. Thanks, lady. You're the best. Have a good day. All right, so it's checkout time, and they informed me it's $5 fill-a-bag day, so I only had 2 items. I'm digging desperately to see if I can't find some good women's pants to fill that bag. Can't pass up a good deal. I've looked pretty hard. I haven't been able to find anything to stuff my $5 fill-a-bag, but I'm okay with that because I buy all kinds of great stuff here all the time, and it's always a great price. So it's also to support a great cause, as this thrift store supports the church right next door, and many of the ladies that work here are volunteers. So I'm gonna go ahead and just be good with buying those 2 items for $5, get another hug, and get on the road. So just got home, staged out all these garments to share with you. All in all, a pretty decent day. I did pay thrift store costs for all these items, which wasn't cheap, but I only paid up for a couple items. And I'm gonna go ahead and share all these items with you. As I've done in the past when I've done a haul, I'll share with you some of the keywords I'll use in the title or the description. I'll share with you the brand, why I buy it, what the material is, and just give you some insight and some ideas that might help you if you're getting into selling clothing, to give you a better idea of what to look for and what to sell. This guy right here is a Mountain Hardwear Windstopper lightweight vest, and I believe this is a runner's vest or maybe a bicyclist vest because it's very lightweight. I only paid $2.50 for this at my last thrift stop, and this guy right here is hard to say what I'll sell it for. I'm unfamiliar with this type of vest, so I'll have to do a little bit of research. Off the top of my head, I think it's probably somewhere between $25 to $30, and to only pay $2.50 is not a bad deal. Mountain Hardwear is an extremely good brand for outdoor apparel, adventure apparel, mountain climbing, biking, running, and it is one of my favorite brands. I stay away from some of their items, but I definitely love their puffer jackets and their vests, and any of their outdoor apparel in general, men's or women, sells really well for me. So this next vest here is a North Face 700 gram down-filled women's puffer vest, and this guy right here was probably the deal of the day. I only paid $4.99 for it. I imagine that's probably because it was white and has several stains on it, but I've had some pretty good luck using my old friend OxyClean, and OxyClean is going to become good friends with this guy here in about 15 minutes. So as I said earlier in the video, I'll spray this guy, I'll soak it overnight, and then I'll wake up in the morning and run the load through the washer. I'll take it out, and hopefully I will have a very clean white vest. And this guy right here, I'll probably be able to sell for somewhere between $50 to $70 if I can get it clean enough. All right, the next item here is a Patagonia zip-up jacket. Now, I paid more than I thought. I thought this was $12.99. It was $14.99. And if there was any one item I probably could have walked away from, it was this item. I paid way too much for this, and it had some stains on the sleeve. I didn't realize that it had the stains until I got out to the car, and I didn't realize that I'd actually paid $2 more for it than I thought. That's all right. At least it's a power brand of mine. It's definitely one of my bread and butters. Patagonia in the right size, color, and condition generally always sells for me. It's why I love it, and it's probably because people don't want to pay full price for Patagonia. That stuff's expensive. So this guy right here was a last minute find at the Goodwill. I did pay up for this. I paid $12.99 for it, but it is an all fleece outdoor research jacket. It is very clean, but it definitely needs a lint roller. I'm good with buying outdoor research. I love selling their hats, their jackets. I haven't had as much success with their shirts or their pants, but I definitely love their hats, beanies, and jackets. This guy here, I hope to get somewhere between $45 to $60 for it, maybe. I'll definitely have to do a little bit of research on it because this is a jacket I'm not familiar with. That's just off the top of my head. Gonna go ahead and slide over here. Now, bought a bunch of LL Bean today. Definitely paid up on some of them. This here is a lightweight ribbed
LL Bean women's jacket. I paid $8 for this at the Methodist thrift store. I can generally get somewhere between $22 to $30, and I have sold a jacket just like this in the past. It was a little bit bigger size, and it actually had a print on it, so it made it worth a little bit more, but I love LL Bean outerwear. Some of the keywords I would use on LL Bean jackets or outerwear would definitely be outside, outdoors, gorp, gorp core, trekking, climbing, camping. All of those words are just going to get that much more attention to help you get a quicker sale. All right, so I'm stepping all over these clothes. This is another LL Bean lightweight zip-up jacket. This jacket was actually marked down. It was $6.99, but they were running 30% off on it, so I didn't pay the full price, and I'm glad I didn't. I also noticed that this jacket had a few small stains and had a little bit of wear that I didn't notice when I was in the store, but that's okay. I'll just have to price it down a little bit. It does have a beautiful outdoor color scheme to it, and I find that the earth tone colors do a little bit better, at least with menswear with LL Bean, but they still seem to sell pretty fast when it's an earth tone colorway with women. And this also has a nice print. I think it's like pine trees or hemlock, and so I still should be able to sell it pretty easily. Now, this guy here, I definitely paid up. I paid a whole $10. This is just an LL Bean extra large zip-up hoodie, but it actually has a flannel blanket lining to it. And I think when I was in the store, I referred to it as a blanket lining, but it's really a flannel lining. And so I have sold a jacket like this, but a different colorway in LL Bean with that flannel lining. And I believe I sold it for like $32 or $34. So if I can get close to that with this jacket, I'll be happy. If it has to go for $25, $28, that'll work too. I might just have to wait on it. All right, we got some more LL Bean. This guy was only $5, and this is a chunky cable knit sweater. I'm going to use those words in the title or even the description. I'll put fisherman sweater, I'll put heavy, I'll put cabin core, cottage core, outdoors, outside, chore, barn, church, holiday, you name it, anything to get that attention and get somebody to come and buy this sweater. Now, this is one of my favorite brands. I found this when I first walked into the Goodwill. I went ahead and still picked it up, but I noticed at checkout it had one little small stain on it. It almost looked like blood, which is kind of nasty, but I got an answer for it. I'm going to give it the treatment of OxyClean as well. And I have sold a Pearl Snap fishing shirt just like this from Howler Bros in the past that was a little bit cleaner and a little bit bigger, and it went for like 38 bucks. So I may not get as much for this guy. It may be more in the 20s, maybe upper 20s if I'm lucky, but I love Howler Bros. It's just a great brand. It's very stylish, and they have very good clothing. All right, so this is a Sims hooded pullover. This guy here is very lightweight. It does have the insect shield line tag on it, so I will put that in the description or in the title, I should say. And Sims is just great fishing gear. I will put other keywords in the description like tarpon fishing, trout fishing, bass fishing. I'll put words like tight lines, bite soup. All of those funny little catchphrases and descriptions just help move these items. I'm huge on keywords. I know I keep coming back to that at the end of my videos or when I'm displaying clothing and sharing it with you, but use better keywords. That has helped me so much with my sales recently. All right, back to another Mountain Hardwear. I did pay up on this guy. It was $9, but it's got a really cool waffle knit plush fleece exterior. At least the black is like a plush fleece. And this guy's extra large and tall. And those plus sizes for the big boys always sell for a little bit more. I'm not sure what I'll get for this guy. I'm unfamiliar with this exact jacket. But off the top of my head, I'm thinking upper 30s, maybe even mid 40s for it. I love Mountain Hardwear. They just make some really quality garments. And when you can get plus sizes, that always helps. This guy here, I will put keywords like climbing, mountaineering, also camping. I'll put work, utility, outdoors, outside. A lot of the same similar keywords I use on some of these other items will go hand in hand. And I deal with a lot of outdoor adventure apparel, and so many of those catchphrases or keywords are very interchangeable. All right, I'm winding it down. This is a cool jacket. It's a zip up. It is a wool knit blend. This jacket here will probably sell for mid 40s, maybe upper 40s. It is going to need a lint roller, but it's in pretty good shape. And because it is wool, I will definitely put that in the title and possibly even in the description. With cool, It is spelled kind of strange, and so I like to put both spellings. I put one in the title, and then I put the opposite spelling in the description. I also put Born in the Mountains in the description box because that's kind of their saying with their clothing. And Cool has some really funky names to a lot of their pants and some of their other clothing. And so if you can look that up and put it in the title, it'll just help get a faster, quicker sale. So speaking of Cool, here's a pair of Cool men's pants. These are kind of the carpenter style. They're not of a specific line, or at least the tag doesn't say that. But again, Cool pants are great. They're great for work utility. They're great for outdoors. They're used by people that do construction work, people who just love to go out and hike, camp, climb. And so again, all those interchangeable keywords will just help this item to move a little bit faster. And then the last two items I have here, I have this pair of 511 tactical pants. I paid $2.50 for these. They are a very big size in the waist, which I usually stray from, but because the cost was so cheap and I sourced them at my local thrift store for a very rock bottom price, I couldn't pass up on them. I will, however, have to give these guys some real estate for probably a little while. And 511 Tactical, as I've said in past videos, doesn't sell for a whole lot, but it does sell consistently for me. So I couldn't walk away from it for $2.50. And then my last item, this item here I'm keeping for myself. This is just a pair of really soft fleece joggers made by my business partner in crime, Carhartt. And I paid like $6 for these. I realized that a bunch of my joggers that I go to the gym in are pretty beat up and I needed to upgrade. And so I'm not too proud to buy used and wear used. That's just how I roll. I got 3 kids and it gets expensive. So nonetheless, I appreciate everybody tuning in. This was a pretty decent haul for the day for me, and I'm glad to be able to share it with you. If you like this video, please reach out, hit that like button. Please make a comment. I love hearing the feedback. And if you would, please subscribe.